Hello and welcome to Liberation Hour Radio. I'm your host today, Rob McNeil, and I'm honoured to be here with Maya, a New Zealand activist who describes herself as a wife, a mother, a friend, an optimist, and an activist. Welcome to the show, Maya.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's a real pleasure to be here with you. Let's start with your vegan story, if you're willing. How long have you been vegan, and why?
Well, I've been vegan for about 9 years now, and my journey to veganism was quite abrupt. I had a stint of vegetarianism along the years, and they didn't last very long. And I think they just didn't come from the right place inside me. And when my son was young, he was very much into sharks. And we followed Sea Shepherd. And through that, we got to learn how dire the situation is in the Cove of Taiji, at the Ross Sea and the Antarctica, and how bad it is for sharks. And that awareness of sustainability of the sea life seeped in, and we became quite active for life in the sea. It just occurred that the Sea Shepherd ship came to dock in Wellington, and through some reading about the ship, I realized that they are pure vegan. So I felt a little bummed out. Why are they vegan? There goes my trip with Sea Shepherd. I'm not going with them to throw stink bombs on the Japanese because they're vegan and too hard basket. But it did pique my interest, and I was really keen to know why. Why the vegan? What's the purpose? I understand not eating fish and meat, but what's wrong with dairy, right? What's wrong with eggs? And so I just started reading, and I just started looking for the information, and it was all there. Surprise, because if you really want to know, the information is all there. There is interest behind hiding it from us, but it's there. And if you actually stop being ignorant of it or uninterested, disinterested, you will find it. And I did, and I was completely shocked, really shocked. I mean, I was quite not a spring chicken, as you say, to discover that a cow needed to be pregnant, to have milk, and me with already a child, not figuring that out. And so I clearly had this epiphany moment when I was in the kitchen, and I just said to my husband, who was sitting there, that we have to go vegan. It just dawned on me, and it was very sudden, and it was, full on, bomb that exploded in my head. We have to go vegan. And he was already vegetarian. So he was, why? What, you going crazy or what? I said, no, that's it. We have to go vegan. And that was it for me. I went vegan on that spot in the kitchen. That was the end of it. I had steak maybe a month before, right, for my birthday. I look at those pictures now and I shudder, but that's how I celebrated like my birthday, really just weeks before. And that was the last bit of dead animal that I have ever consumed. And luckily, my husband followed me very soon after, and then my children as well. So we are fully converted, and it's been 9 years now. Every vegan kind of laments the fact that they hadn't done it sooner, but don't look back, hey.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story. Thanks for sharing. The whole family, that's awesome. In 9 years. Do you want to tell us a little bit about where you're based and what kind of activism you're doing? You did mention Wellington already.
Very soon after turning vegan, the need to speak up boiled in me. I couldn't resist. I actually read a really nice phrase the other day, say, by doing nothing, we're doing harm. by saying nothing, we are complicit. And I think I didn't know that this phrase back then, but this is really what I felt, right? It was this sense that, okay, now I understand why I had to go vegan. And now this whole veil was lifted. I need to help other people see. I need to help the animals. I can't just sit there and say nothing and pretend I'm not vegan, or even if I am vegan, say nothing because, what people might think of me. And, I never really cared what people thought of me. And that's not new to being vegan. That was all my life. But I really had the sense that you have to rise up. You have to speak up. This is such an overwhelming atrocity that if we are not fighting against it, how will the animals ever be saved? And so I started looking. I was very much influenced by what I saw that was happening in Israel at the time. I was looking through Facebook, and they had this Animal Liberation Front, and they were doing a lot of going into hatcheries and stopping the machine that grated the chicks alive, and they did really great stuff. And then I was exposed to similar actions that were happening in America by DXE, Direct Actions Everywhere, and I was really inspired. I felt restless, so I really needed to do it as well. I started looking at what was happening in Wellington. There were no disruptions. Took a long time for disruptions. Disruptions did happen here in earlier generations, but I think those were different times. So there were disruptions, I think, in the 90s. But when I started to look through, there was more, the whole approach was very different. It was more towards outreach. And I just joined the first outreach action that I found, which was outside of the slaughterhouse on the highway. And that was my first action. I didn't know anyone. I didn't even know any vegans, not to mention animal rights activists. I had no idea. I just went there because I thought I might find my people, or I might feel awkward. I didn't know who's going to be there. I was really surprised because everyone was just lovely. People like me. It's not, you think, what you read in the media, oh, vegans are complete nutters, tree huggers, hippies, and it's complete. I mean, we are every people. We are everyone. Everyone can be vegan, and activists. So you have lawyers, and you have accountants, and you have students, and you have retired people, and you have unemployed people, and you have all sorts of people, and old and young, and every gender on this under the sky, and every color, of course. Everyone, and everyone was really welcoming, and it was great. So I didn't stop. Since then, we after a few years, so I joined Speak Up for Animals, and after a few years, we created the Wellington chapter of the Save movement. So we have the Wellington Animal Save. We bear witness outside of the slaughterhouse. We had AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless, doing cubes, and it kind of turned into a different group. So we have another group, actually, not instead, but in addition, that's called Wellington Vegan Actions, that they do their own cubes, and I just jump from one action to the other. Basically, I will do anything. I really have no boundaries unless other than that I feel that it is contributing to the cause, so that it will promote veganism and animal rights, and that that there is a clear benefit out of it. So yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of stuff, helping out a lot of other people, other teams. So yeah, I really like the activism here in Wellington and in New Zealand generally. I don't think there's a lot of ego ego wars like you see in other places. It's not that it doesn't exist, it does, but very limited, and there's a lot of willing to support each other and work together towards creating an action or doing something like the Wellington Animal Rights March last November. A lot of people were involved from various groups, and I have so many t-shirts in my drawer of so many organizations that I'm involved with animal rights and veganism that I'll very happily don a t-shirt for Anti-Vivisection Society or SAFE or yeah, just you mention it, as long as it's for an action that is powerful and that would promote animal liberation. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks for everything you're doing. That's quite a range. Is there anything you'd say to someone that really wants to help animals, but maybe still has this impression that activists are nutters, as you put it, maybe isn't quite ready to pick up a sign yet? Are there other ways to get involved, or would you have a message for those people?
You can do anything, you don't have to go to the street with a sign, even though I think the best way to find out whether it is for you or it isn't is actually to try it out, because you will be surprised. We're a very welcoming bunch of people, but I think it's okay if you really feel strongly that you don't want to stand out with a sign. It's fine. Like, my daughter is 9. She's 9. She comes with me, and she'll go, yeah. My son is more introverted. It's not his style, so he'll do something else. Everything is good if you have the passion and you understand that everyone has a role to play in this struggle for animal liberation. Then do whatever you're comfortable with. Some people are more comfortable just talking in their social circle, just cooking really nice vegan food and showing their friends how delicious vegan food can be. Some people are really good on social media, and they have a lot of followers. And some people, they write songs or books. And some people, whatever you're good at or whatever you feel comfortable with, as long as you're not quiet about it, because it really is, that by saying nothing, we are complicit. So just don't be complicit. But you don't feel that unless you're standing on the street and rah, 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 you're not doing nothing, you're not contributing, because that's not so.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a really good couple of points you made there. There's roles for everybody. We need social media experts, or even just people that want to learn about getting the word out on social media. We need video editors. We need fundraisers. We need all kinds of, roles that don't necessarily just include, frontline actions. So there really is a place for everybody. So thanks for that. If you're willing, I'd love to just jump into the books now. What led you to write the books, and can you just kind of briefly describe the series that you're writing at the moment?
Sure. So I was always, I'm still a reader, an avid reader. I really enjoy reading. I read a lot. And my preferred genre was always dystopia, mystery, detective, whodunit, suspense thriller. And since going vegan, I found that it's really hard for me to read a book, because every time I started reading a book that was otherwise really good, the speciesism, the animal cruelty kind of jumped at me. And sometimes it's really just about the protagonist that you started to really like and enjoy, and all of a sudden they're having bacon. And that immediate disgust and immediate it's just off-putting, and I felt like, how come there is no book that I can pick up safely, reading a really great story that is thrilling and gripping and keeping me at the edge of my seat, without feeling bit put off by the speciesism and everything that I described. And there was nothing. I mean, I looked, you Google, you search, and there was absolutely nothing. And so, I did write all my life. I just wrote, not necessarily in English, but I did write in English as well. And I just decided, if it's not there, create it, write it, go on, you write it. And I decided to write it in between the point where I actually decided to write a book until finding my voice and what I wanted to write about. It took about 2 years of formulating in my brain, because it's not just that I wanted to write a book that vegans will not be afraid of. I wanted to write a book that vegans will love, that they can identify with, that they will be empowered by, but also that non-vegans will be easily hooked in and immersed easily in the story before they before they go, oh, okay. But I'm not going to stop now, even though I know that the person who wrote it is a nutter, vegan. And so I wrote the first book, I can even show, is called The Shed. My pen name is M C Ronen. The Shed was the first book. It came out in 2018. And it tells a story of Sunny. So I was quite influenced by Animal Farm. It's a novella by George Orwell. I read it when I was young and I loved it. I really loved how he used pigs to describe men. So it is about Animal Farm, but it isn't. It is actually about people. It was an anti-Stalinist story, and a plot. And so I decided to do the same, but in reverse. So use humans to actually tell a story with a message about animals. And so Sunny is a girl. She lives in a farm, a very odd place. It's she never been out of the farm. It's there is a big shed in the farm where girls are not supposed to go into until a certain age, and everything's kind of weird. I don't want to give too much away. It's pretty dark. It's dystopian. It's dark. It's quite suspenseful, and even a borderline thriller, but not over the top. I mean, it depends how exposed you are to thrillers. It's not gory, but it is. It will keep you on your toes. And so the story follows Sunny, and she does break out of the farm, and I won't say anymore. But it's a very fast-paced story, page-turning story, and I ended it with a sort of a cliffhanger because I knew that more were to come. And then Liberation came out. Liberation came out in 2020, just before the coronavirus hit. So it was very weird. But in this book, so if The Shed was really about the farm and the escape, then Liberation very much is about activism. And whereas The Shed is very subtle in how veganism and animal rights are kind of told, it's a very subtle message, but it's there. But it's subtle because my aim was, as I said, to appeal to non-vegans. In Liberation, assuming you have already read The Shed and you're already hooked and you really want to know what happens next, then Liberation is more in your face. It's about activism, it's about saving animals, humans, and it's about being active and doing stuff and going all out. Again, under this whole constellation of this dystopian world that I created, where we kind of picking up about that there was a catastrophe, a series of catastrophes that started with the burning of the Amazon River forest, which really did happen in 2020. And so you kind of can pinpoint where the world starts to tilt from that point of view. And it came out just on the corona hit, and I didn't think that I would write a number 3. I also, Liberation, while still ending in a cliffhanger, still, I kind of thought, even though it was a cliffhanger for Sunny, my protagonist, it's kind of was a good point for me to leave her. And I really didn't think that I'll write number 3. I actually told in a different interview that I had last year that there's not going to be a number 3. And it was all right for a while, until people started actually to read Liberation and catching up on the story, and then started to really ask me, where is the next? Where's the rest of it? How does it end? And the how does it end was a question that people asked a lot. And so, yeah, I also was a bit burnt out by this whole crazy year last year with the virus and activism. You know, you do get burnt out when you're all out. Then you expose yourself. You see things that affect you. I think all of us are a little bit PTSD to a degree, and so I had to take a bit of a break as well and let myself completely not do it and not think about it. And it was about, I think, February or March this year, 2021, that I actually felt, okay, I think I know how to end it. I think I know where I want to take it. So if first book is farm, second book activism, third book is politics. And because I do strongly think that only until we take over the political sphere, we will be able to really end animal liberation. And so, to get to animal liberation and end animal cruelty and exploitation, so by an act of law. And so the third book is going to be called It Was in Our Hands. It's actually coming out on the 15th of July, so really soon. I'm excited. And soon enough, it can be even pre-ordered on Kindle within days, really. And yeah, so that's about the next level, the next level of this whole struggle. And I'm not gonna reveal if it ends and how, but I really like that third book. I think I like it more than the other two. I think it's my favorite of the 3. I had really good feedback from editors. I had 2 really good friends of mine who edited it, and I got amazing feedback about it, how gripping it is from page 1 to the last page, keeping them riveted and excited. So yeah, watch this space.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I want to say that I really like what I've read so far in the books. It is awesome, definitely, to have a book that doesn't suddenly surprise you by your favorite protagonist sitting down to, eat some animals. But in addition to that, it is quite suspenseful. It carries you along. So thanks for that. And now you got me excited to read, because I haven't read even all of The Shed yet, but excited to read Liberation, which I was hoping was named after our show, but I think we've both named our vessels after just, general liberation, which is awesome. And I can't wait for the third one to come out. Just again, in terms of finding the books in North America, is Kindle probably the best platform to get them with a reasonable cost without, all the shipping and stuff that comes along?
So you can buy my book from Amazon and Amazon.com. it is available to both download on your Kindle. It's probably the cheapest way you can get it. If you're like me and you really like the feel of holding a book, and you know, I get really attached to all my books. So not just the one I write, just all my books. So you can also order it in a hard copy, a soft cover, which is a little bit more expensive. I think it's printed somewhere in California, but so if you don't live in California or somewhere else, then you know, you'll need to ship it. But it's not gonna break your bank, I don't think, for Americans, because even the shipping is not like, I mean, Kiwis in New Zealand, I always tell them, you know, if you can't find a copy, you know, let me know, because I know that the shipping is almost the same. It always costs the same as the book itself. So yeah, but so both are available on Amazon. Also, it might be available through other retailers online. I know that, for example, the Book Depository, I don't know if it's in America, but Book Depository is very strong in Europe, and you can get it there, might be even for cheaper. I just find out that you can actually order it in New Zealand from other online retailers, so it's worthwhile trying.
Great, thank you for all of that. Is there anything else that people can do to support you, or do you want to sort of shout out to any of your local groups that you work with for local activists to come out?
Yeah, the SAVE movement, I'm part of it, so I strongly support them. Bearing witness, it's very difficult, but it's very rewarding, and we actually do a lot of good. So the SAVE movement, find them in your town, in wherever you are, and if you don't have a chapter, you know, create one. And there's also the Anonymous for the Voiceless, or you know, you can do your own cube. We have them, and we have our own cubes, and yeah, just, you know, do whatever you can. Write a book, sing a song, record it. I mean, anything that you can do is good. If you want to follow me on my social media, and I do actually post updates and where you can find it. So on Facebook, you just go to, you know, www.facebook.com/MC Ronen. So MC Ronen, like my pen name, without dots, just MC Ronen in one word. And on Instagram, I'm also on Instagram. You can find my username. It's fairly new. I just got back into Instagram after closing my previous account because I got enough, but now I'm back on it. I'm very weak. It's MC Ronen _activist_author.
Okay, great. We'll throw up, I'll put up a banner that shows that so people can find you. Just wanted to say thanks very much for all the activism that you do and the writing. I think it's a wonderful addition to types of activism. I wish there was more out there, but I'm excited to finish reading these books and to see. I'm hoping maybe this won't be your last book. Maybe it's the last one in the series, but it sounds like you've got a lifelong passion for writing. So thanks for everything you've done so far, and please keep up the good work.
And thank you very much, Robin. Thank you for everything that you're doing as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.